Hello there ladies and gentlemen, Okay Magic, Chris here, bringing you another tech video. This time I'm bringing you my standard deck that I commonly play with on Friday Night Magic, and I did play on a Saturday Showdown when it was still going. So Friday Night Magic I tend to go 2-2, 3-1 usually with this deck. It is quite a nice little deck. I do have a lot of fun playing with it, and on Saturday Showdown I did come second time with first with this deck, but unfortunately, the guy who I tied with did come first because he did get more wins than me with his deck. So it is a spirits deck. It is blue, white, and green, and the idea of it is to flash in spirits and also sort of control it with tapping their creatures or giving your creatures hexproof to stop abilities happening from your opponent. So without further ado, I'll go to the first creature, which is 1 blue. It's a 1/1 with flying, and it's Mausoleum Wanderer. And its abilities are: whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, Mausoleum Wanderer gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then you can sacrifice it, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless its control plays X, where X is Mausoleum Wanderer's power. Now this is quite a nice neat little card. Basically, start of the game, it's just nice little have 1/1 attack. But say if your opponent casts an instant sorcery that's going to do a lot of damage, you can then sort of flash in spirits, get his power up, and then you can sack it and basically counter the target or instant sorcery spell. And then the only downside is to it is obviously your opponent can tap the mana when you counter it. So bear that in mind. Have a look at your opponent's mana, and then obviously make the judgment call whether it's going to be they're going to be able to counter it or not. But sometimes you might want to just do it anyway, just to force them to tap their mana, so they've got no mana tapped. So it's a nice little flyer. I run 4 of these in my deck, and usually if it's a creature heavy deck, I tend to sideboard them out. Next one up is Permeating Mass. It's 1 green, and this card probably one of my favourite green creatures. 1 mana creatures. It's a spirit. It's 1 attack, 3 defense, and its special ability is whenever Permeating Mass deals combat damage to a creature, that creature becomes a copy of Permeating Mass. Now I love this card purely because it stops your opponents in your trap. They basically can swing with a 9/9, block it, that becomes a Permeating Mass. It basically stops big creatures in their track, and it causes nightmares for opponent. So basically, as long as it does combat damage, it transforms. The only downside is prevent combat damage, and instead of combat damage, take a 1/1 off counter off it. That's the only way you can sort of get around it. And also bear in note, if you have +1/+1 counters on Permeating Mass, does not transfer to the other creature as well. But if they have +1 counters on their opponents, it does stay on. And basically I run 3 of these. It is an absolute brilliant card. I may look at running 4 of these because it is such a good little card to play with. And then last one, that is 1 mana, and it's a white, is Topplegiest, and it's a 1/1 with flying, and when Topplegiest enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent control, and its delirium effect is at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, if there are 4 more cards types among cards in your graveyard, tap a target creature that player controls. Now it's a very good creature. You can bring it in and basically tap a target creature, and if you can get it flash, you can do it to stop an opponent attacking with a creature or a vehicle, and that is such a good little card. It can, and for what it's worth, it is very handy. The only downside is it's a 1/1, but mind you, what you expect really for a flying creature with 1 mana. Okay, next up we're going to be moving on to our 2 mana creatures. So next one, I run 4 of these, and it is Rattlechains, and these are essential in this deck. And it is a spirit. It's a 2/1 with flying, and it has flash as well. And when Rattlechains enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. And then its most important other ability, you may cast spells as though they have had flash. So basically, considering most of this deck is spirit, every single spirit gets flash. Now, the other thing is, you can give a spirit hexproof. So basically, if they're trying to deck in stone a spirit, give it hexproof, you know. Or if not, then just as you play Rattlechains, just give itself hexproof. Just stop the opponent sort of trying to get rid of it at the end of your turn. And again, for a 2-1, you can swing with a 2-1 and it's flying, so you can do 2 damage. And essentially, you want to get this out probably early as possible. Then you can sort of play about with all your other spirits. Basically, you can then cast sort of like other spirits at the end of the opponent's turn and get a field ready. The other 2-mana spirit I play is, I run 4 of these, and it is Selfless Spirit. And it's a 2-1 again with flying, and its ability is sacrifice Selfless Spirit. Creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of your turn. Until the end of turn, sorry. Basically, this is brilliant. They're swinging big, block, 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 sacrifice Selfless Spirit. Everything on your side gets indestructible. Nothing gets dies. It is such a good card, and the sad thing is, it is at the time of recording, I think it is quite expensive. So that is the only unfortunate bit of it. But you need 4 of these basically, because it just makes, basically it just gives everything indestructible, and you can just block easily. And basically, what you can also do with if you've got Rattlechains field, you can then block, 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 flash it in, sacrifice it, and then give everything a surprise indestructible from your opponent, which will catch him off guard. And another combo that I like to do is, if I'm doing the blocks, I like to block with Selfless Spirit, and then before damage sacrifice it, so it blocks the attack as well, which is, you know, it sort of blocks another attack. So that's our 2-mana spirits done. Now moving on to our 3-mana. Now these are probably, you want to keep these in no matter what. The first 3-mana one is Spell Queller, which is 1 mana, 1 white and 1 blue. And it has flash and flying. It's a 2/3, so 2 attack, 3 defense. And when Spell Queller enters the battlefield, exile target spell with converted mana cost 4 or less. When Spell Queller leaves the battlefield, the exile card owners may cast that card without paying its mana cost. This is an absolute nightmare for people. Basically, they cast 4 mana Planeswalker. Nope, Spell Queller. They cast a 3 mana, 4 mana card or less anything. You can just basically block them. And better yet, it's a 2/3 defense, 2 attack, 3 defense creature. So you can swing as well with this as much as you like. The only thing to take note is, when it leaves the battlefield, your opponent can cast it. So if you've got a really dangerous card like a board wipe, just bearing that in mind with that, you may want to keep sort of like, maybe say if they've got Fumigate, you may want to keep a Selfless Spirit ready or something, or some way of countering it. So it is sort of a delay tactic. It allows you to set up and get ready for it, but just be aware that you may people will try and remove it ASAP. And then moving on to our final 3 spirit is Nebelgast Herald, and this is 2 mana, 1 blue, and I run 3 of these, and it's a spirit, and it has flash and flying. Whenever Nebelgast Herald or another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent control. Basically, I'm seriously thinking of running 4 of these instead of 3, and basically cast spirit, tap, tap, tap. So basically, if you got flashed and you know they're going to swing with something big, you can just basically flash spirit in, tap it. It is absolutely brilliant card, and it's thrown so many people off. Of what I tend to like to do with this card is wait until an opponent's end of turn, or wait until they all untap basically, and then go for a new for sort of end of turn, or as you untap, flash, 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 tap their target creature. They can do sod all, and basically leaves them either to an open attack. Basically, it's such a good card, but the only thing is it's a 2/1, so anything can wipe it basically, which is the shameful bit. So that's our 3 mana creatures. Now moving on to 5 mana. Now this is the only only non-spirit card I run in my main board, and it is Archangel Avacyn, which is 3 mana, 2 white. It's a 4 attack, 4 defense. It has flash, flying, and vigilance. And when Archangel Avacyn then is battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. And then when a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of your next upkeep, and it transforms into Avacyn the Purifier, which has flying, 6 attack, 5 defense. And when this creature transforms into Avacyn the Purifier, it deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent. Now with this card, it is absolutely brilliant because it gives again another indestructible trigger. But the major downside with this card is the flip. It can wipe your own board out. So you need to think very carefully when playing this card, because it can cause you problems more than anything. So when I play this card, I tend to again wait until they swing, flash her in, eliminate a creature, and then if I know I've got sort of like 2 Selfless Spirits out, I tend to, before I end turn, to sacrifice one, and in the start of the turn, as she flipped, I'll sacrifice another one to get everything indestructible, and that way it wipes your opponent's board and it does 3 damage to them. And it's a 4/4 with flying and vigilance. It's good. And then on the other side, it's a 6/5 with attack with flying. That's good as well. But the only downside is it doesn't have vigilance anymore, so that is the major downside to it. And I run two of these because they are very high mana for what they are worth. And that is my creatures. Right, on my instant side, I run 3 Blossoming Defences, which is a 1 green mana. It's an instant. Target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Now, again, this stops any instant sorceries or enchantments that target. Basically, target, nope. Stops it, and bonus bit, you get 2/2/2 to enter. It is such a good card. Potentially, I maybe with Aether Revolt, I may replace this card, but I will go with it in the end of the video what I may be replacing with Aether Revolt. So basically, I run 3 of them. The next instant I run, which is 2 mana, and it is Blessed Alliance. It's an instant, and you can escalate it for 2. And you choose 1 or more, basically with the escalation. Target player gains 4 life, untap up to 2 target creatures, and this is the bit I like most. Target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature. So basically, I can guarantee you'll probably want to play it for the sacrificing bit, because if they're swinging sort of like an Unwoken Horror, and you're playing the control deck, you can make him sacrifice it. They swing an instructor at you, alone, sacrifice it. Again, the unfortunate bit is, the issue you got is if they're swinging with another creature that's attacking, they could, and it's a low health, they could sacrifice that. So, and then if you pay the escalate, I tend to do 10 target player gains 4 life. I tend to give myself, it gives you a bit of life gain in this deck, which is essential. I may look at putting 2 more of these in, because it is a bit of life gain, and it can give you a bit more of an edge during longer lengths of the game. And I run 2 of them. The next one I run, which is an enchantment, and it is Always Watching. I run 2 of these, and it is non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and a vigilance. Now, the sweet bit of this is a +1/+1, and also the vigilance bit. All the spirits get +1/+1. Basically, Mausoleum Wanderer now gets, you can now sack it and force the opponent to pay 2. And they have vigilance as well, so you can just keep swinging with flying and without consequences and still have stuff to block. It's absolutely brilliant, and it is, in my opinion, essential. I may look at running 3, possibly 3. The only downside is it's 2 white mana, so you've got to make sure you've got the white mana for it. But it is such a good card, I reckon, and I do think it is an underrated card that not a lot of people play. So that is it with my creatures and sideboard. On my lands, I run. Now, this is a bit of a jumble. So my basic lands, I run basically 3 plains, then 3 islands, and then 2 forests. They are all my basic lands I run. So I've only run 8 of them. Then I run 2 evolving wilds, and I use them to sort of get the mana fix a little bit. You might want to look at 3 or 4 evolving wilds, but I tend to find 2 does me good. And also I use it for sort of like the delirium trigger, also on Topplegiest. And then on the dual lands, I run 2 port towns, which is, as port town enters the battlefield, you may reveal a plains or an island card from your hand. If you don't, port town enters the battlefield tap, and you can tap it for white or blue. Now, with Prairie Stream, which I'm going to reveal in a minute, you can then reveal that, and then it comes on tap because it is a plains or island, so you are allowed to do that. And I run two port towns in this deck. The other sort of card like that is Fortified Village, which I run 3 of, which is the same again. You may reveal plains or a forest. If you don't, it enters tapped, and you can tap it for green or white. So again, I combo that with Prairie Stream as well. It just gives you a lot of options just to enter it untapped. And the other dual lands I run is Prairie Stream, which I just covered, which is blue and white, and its abilities is Prairie Stream enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more basic lands. So again, you should, by the time to play it, should have hopefully some basic lands out, so it should enter untapped. And I run 3 of them. Now the other one I run, which are 4 of these, is Lumbering Falls, and Lumbering Falls enters the battlefield tapped. Add green or blue to your mana pool. Pay 2 mana, green, blue. Lumbering Fall becomes a 3/3 green, blue elemental creature with hexproof until the end of its turn. It's still a land. Basically, you can, if you're going against a control deck, you can just, and you know they've got ways of countering your spells. What I tend to tap full, swing with Lumbering Falls, and just keep swinging with Lumbering Falls, and they can't do anything because it's got hexproof, so they can't target it at all. It's such a nice card to have, and it is such a lifesaver. It has literally won me a couple games because people can't do anything, and all they can do is sit there and watch me swing. So that is it for my lands. Right, Planeswalkers I run in this deck. That's one thing I forgot to cover. Right, for my Planeswalkers that I run, first one is Tamiyo, which is 1 mana, 1 green, 1 white, and 1 blue. And basically she enters with 4 loyalty counters, and her first ability is +1, choose up to 2 target creatures until your next turn. Whenever either of those creatures attack, deals combat damage, you draw a card. Basically, you can even choose your opponent's creatures. It forces them to think, if they attack and do damage, they're going to give you card draws. You can do it to your own creatures and give yourself card draws. It's such a good way of drawing cards into this deck. She is very, it just gives you more card draw. -2 is tap up to 2 non-land permanents. They don't untap during their controller's next untap set. So basically, you can tap vehicles. To tapping artifacts, you can tap them. Basically, it shuts down. For a -2 ability, it just opens up so much. And then this last is her ultimate, which is -7. Draw 3 cards. You get an emblem with. You may cast non-land cards from your hand without paying its mana cost. Now that says it all. Basically, you can cast anything without paying mana. So you can just go bang, 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 and better yet, give you 3 cards. So basically, if you can get it up to -7, pretty much when you hit it at 7, you're going to roll them over anyway. It's just such a nice little combo. Basically you can then just flash everything. If you've got Rattlechains on, you can just cast Blossom in Defense for free, Blessed Alliance, everything. It is just absolutely nice. So I run 2 of them, and the other Planeswalker I run in my main board is 2 of Nissa of Voice of Zendikar. and she's 1 mana, 2 green. +1 is put a 0/1 plant creature token onto the battlefield, which is a great little defender. You know, it can add a little bit more defenders, give you a bit more time as you build up. And then the second ability is -2, put +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. So basically you can put counters on your spirits and just let them start swinging a lot bigger. And then -7 is you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. Basically, if situations are dire, you can do that. And so if you've got 10 lands, you get 10 life, 10 cards, and then you can sort of just cast whatever you can. Basically, I tend to not alter at her. I tend to stick with a +1 -2, and then just ramp things up. And I run 2 of them. So that is it for my main deck. You know, that is what I run. Now my sideboard, this is what chops and changes quite a lot. So this is what it is from the recording, but no, I tend to change it a lot. So the planeswalkers that I run 2 different planeswalkers in my sideboard. The first one is Gideon, ally of Zendikar, 2 mana, 2 white, and he enters with 4 loyalty, and +1 is till end of turn. Gideon, ally of Zendikar, becomes a 5/5 human shoulder ally creature with indestructible that's still a planeswalker. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to in this turn. So basically, he's just a heavy hitter on that one. I tend to +1 him, just keep swinging, and then just pummeling the defences. He's got his second one is minus is a 0 ability, 0 loyalty counter ability. Put a 2/2 white knight ally creature onto the battlefield. Now it's a nice 2/2. It's a token. You can keep putting them out. He doesn't gain, but he doesn't lose anything, so it's not so bad. And his -4 is you get an emblem. Creatures you control get +1/+. So as you may have known, you can cast his ultimate immediately. So depending on the situation, sometimes I will just -4 him, just get +1/+1, just get more of a swing in it. It sort of depends on the situation. It varies on which one you may play. So that's the first one. The second one I run is Nissa, Vital Force, and she's 3 mana, 2 green, and she enters with 5 loyalty counters. And her +1 is untap target land you control until your next turn. It becomes a 5/5 elemental creature with haste, and it's still land. Now, same with Gideon again. Swing with a 5/5, but it's a land. The only danger is you can lose the land if they've got some sort of distraction spell. So you may want to bear that in mind. Sort of, sometimes it might be better to swing with Evolving Wilds, but it depends on the situation. But better yet, it is you keep it until your next turn. So you may use it as defender. So you may keep an Evolving Wilds behind. They try to destroy. You sack it, get a land out of it, you know, and they just wasted a destruction spell as far as you're concerned. -3 is return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So basically you can return planeswalkers, enchantments, creatures. So anything that's taken on permanently in the battlefield, you can get back into your hand. You could do an Evolving Wild, but I don't know why you would do it, but there may be a reason to it. Maybe lower mana. And a -6 is you get an emblem with whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. So this is quite insane. So basically land draw. So basically if you get in a land each turn, you'll get in 2 draws a turn, which is absolutely insane. So that's the planeswalkers I run. Now the other cards I run is Authority of the Consuls. I run 3 of these. It's 1 white mana. And it's enchantment. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield. Whenever they enter the battlefield under an opponent's control, you gain 1 life. So basically it shuts down any rush decks because they enter all tapped. It is basically a failure, but an enchantment. It is such a good card. It causes nightmare with people, and better yet, you gain life as it goes on. So it's a nice little life stabilizer as well. Other one I run is free Declaration Stones. 1 mana, 1 white. Sorry, it's a sorcery. Exile target creature and all other creatures its controller controls with the same name as that creature. That player investigates for each non-token creature exiled this way. Now this is the thing to remember. If you target non-token creatures, They don't get clues. If you target if you target token creatures, they don't get the clues. If you target non-tokens, they do get clues. So you may want to be aware of that. If you're facing an artifact deck that sort of heavily on how many artifacts, you're basically feeding them artifacts. So you may want to watch it with that one. But it's such a good card to get rid of, sort of way around indestructible, and it's only 2 mana, so it is such a good card. The last 2 I run is 2 Negates, which is 1 mana, 1 blue, and counter target non-creatures. But again, I use that to stop anything like a enchantment and that, anything devastating entering the battlefield. And basically I run 2 of them. And that is what I run basically in my sideboard. Now, what I tempted to run is in this deck that I sort of keep on the side is Elder Deep Fiend, which is 8 mana, flash emerge for 5 and 2 blue. So basically sacrifice creature and you get to pay less depending on the creature's mana cost, and then basically when he enters the battlefield tap up to 4 target opponents. Now the only reason I don't keep this in sideboard or anything is because unfortunately it is very high mana cost and it's sort of a late game as well. I mean, it, you know, against a long game it would be brilliant, but for what it's worth, it's not. You're going to probably end the game with this deck pretty early, middle game. So that is probably for if I know people are running a lot of long games and they need something for the long game. With Aether Revolt coming out, as you may be aware, I'm virtually running no Aether Revolt cards at the minute. That's due to the fact I haven't sort of gotten as much yet, because I'm still waiting for it to be fully released. And once I get my fat pack in there, I may put more stuff in. So, I mean, what I'm possibly looking at is possibly Renegade Railer, which is 1 green, 1 white. It is Revolt, so when it ends, which Revolt is basically when you leave your opponent you control leaves the battlefield, you can then do the Revolt trigger. So basically, if Evolving Wilds leaves the battlefield, that's a Revolt trigger. So when the Renegade Railer enters the battlefield, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, which was just covered, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now I was thinking, getting a pack of Selfless Spirit in that, it could be handy. I mean, I can see a lot of use for that card. I mean, it just lets me get back spirits and everything with that card. I mean, yeah, I mean that is sort of what I might run, but depending on sort of what my store is running, I mean that may differ. And the other one I'm looking, which is going to probably replace with Blossoming Defense, is Heroic Intervention, which is 1 green, 1 white, I believe. And all your creatures gain indestructible and hexproof. Sorry, all your permanents gain hexproof and indestructible till your turn. Such an insane card. But only thing that's sort of holding me on back on it, they don't get plus, something like plus, any pluses or anything. So that I may run, I may sideboard it, and then switch with the Blossoming Defense depending on how I feel with it. I mean, the other one I'm possibly going to run is the Oath of Ijari, purely because I can cast my Planeswalkers for less, but also I can put +1/+1 counters on everything, which is such a huge bonus. Again, I may look at replacing that. I don't know what with. I want to keep always watching in, but I may replace it with something. But what at the minute, I'm not too sure. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any suggestions you guys may have. You know, also check out our other deck tech videos and let us know what you think of those. Also note, we're near 100 subscribers, so when we hit 100 we will probably most likely be running a competition to celebrate 100 subscribers. So from me, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, people, and any questions or anything, leave in the comment section. Thank you.